The secret to working completely unstirred with those you cannot stand. Your co founder, your business partner, an aggravating client, even your secretary. Is there a rift in any of these relationships in your life? Do you sometimes dread the upcoming meeting with them? Do you want to know what to say and do so these interactions become more pleasant? And so that you know how to deal with them? Or do you want to arrive at a place in which such interactions simply no longer have the power to stir you? Ever? I am frankly not sure why I offered you the first option. That's not what I do. So let's move to the second and get started. I will begin with a few statements, then spend the remainder of the discussion expounding upon them in painstaking detail. Your problems have nothing whatsoever to do with the other person. The way you feel about him or her needs only to be acknowledged and never to be addressed or fixed or worked upon. Please drop all thoughts of trying to be extra kind or more compromising or bending over backwards as a means of saving or mending the relationship. Because nature has a way of punishing insincerity. And when this kindness and compromise and bending over backwards is not returned, you will be twice as furious as before. Forget all ideas about trying to make things better. Forget about trying to mend the relationship. Why? Because if you do this, the relationship you will be trying to mend will be the wrong one. The relationship that needs to be addressed is not the one between you and him. It is the one between you and your mind. So let's focus upon the fire rather than the smoke, shall we? Okay, let's keep going. I fully accept that you don't like this person. I accept that your sentiments are genuine, and I will not try to talk you out of them. But the fact that you don't like him is really of no consequence. The fact that you don't like him has no bearing on anything. It is no more significant than you preferring one brand of cola over another or one shirt color versus another. There is something that we must settle at this point. It is imperative, and this is what it is. You believe that because you don't like him, that this leads to feelings of animus, which leads to confrontation, and a miserable feeling is the result. But if we examine the matter closely, what really is the case is this. The two central points are, first, the anticipation of having to meet him, and the second, the experience of meeting itself. The anticipation of your meeting with him causes you just as much, if not more, internal strife than the meeting itself. Let us focus here, for herein lies the key to the entire matter. I bet you have asked yourself many times what you have done wrong. I bet you have asked yourself many times what you have done wrong, what he has done wrong, how to get along, how to mend the relationships, what sort of things you should say, how to put it all behind you and start again, and so forth. And questions were your attempt to lessen the pain and the drama that you felt when you interacted with him. Right? But I am willing to bet that you have never asked yourself the following question. Why does the anticipation of your meeting with him causes you to stir inside? You probably think that the answer is obvious. The obvious answer being that because you don't like him. You dread the experience that you are going to have with him. And the anticipation of this dread causes you to stir. But I believe that there is a more fundamental reason. One that perhaps you haven't dug deep enough to find. And it is this. The reason that the anticipation of meeting him causes you to stir is because of fear. Fear of what? Fear of the possibility of your emotions running wild. Fear of the possibility that you will lose control. Fear of the possibility that you will do something drastic. Fear of the possibility of sinking into despair, anger, and all manner of inner turmoil. And all of these things reside within you. They have nothing at all to do with him. My dear friend, your internal strife does not come from your anticipation of meeting with him. Your internal strife comes from your anticipation of meeting the part of yourself that you may not be able to control. You see, if you knew with complete certainty that no matter how disagreeable the meeting became, your internal emotions would remain checked, and that your mind would not run wild, you would not feel any anticipation at all, regardless of how much you disliked him. Knowing this, the remedy has nothing to do with him or mending the relationship or any of that. The remedy has everything to do with exploring the reasons why your mind gets away from you in difficult situations. In settling that specific internal affair, you will quite automatically work with people you dislike seamlessly. Because there will be no longer a need for anticipation to arise. You will not stir before the meeting, and because your mind will remain firmly under your thumb, there will not be any internal strife during the meeting. You might then logically ask the next step in this journey. How is it that you can bring the mind under control? How is it that you can bring the mind under your thumb? A beautiful question it is, but I must leave this for another discourse.